the value of 1 minute. Let's talk about the second one. What would you do with it? This was the one that I think perplexes most people, because you think of 60 seconds of time, right? Relatively fleeting, of course, in a lifetime. But again, in the illustration, we said if you're holding your hand over a lit candle, that 60 seconds is going to take painstakingly long. Sit in the dentist chair for 60 seconds, right, while they're drilling, and tell me how there's not enough time for you to feel it, right? Of course, nowadays, with all the pain-free dentistry, there's a good chance not. What can you do in that, right? Could you call someone? Well, I imagine you probably could, right? You could pick up the phone. I think in 60 seconds you could call, right? Could you write someone? I would say so. By the way, write includes texts, right? A text that you can do. I love having note cards with me, right? Just real simple note cards, right? Whether they're printed with your name on it or just simple ones you buy at the drugstore. Because inevitably there's always people in your world that have done wonderful things for you that deserve that kind of attaboy or that pat on the back that a handwritten note, hand-stamped, really brings, right? How many times have you gotten a thank you by email? Now, is it better than nothing? Well, of course it is, but barely, right? But the idea of someone taking their time to write a note, to put a stamp on it, right, to go through the process of more thoroughly acknowledging what you've done and the appreciation that you have. Could you do it in a minute? I think you probably could, right? How about look at something, right? Everyone's got that great American novel that they're trying to read, or they should be trying to read. Right? That 1 minute is a lot of time. But imagine at the end of the day that you might have thought was wasted, right? And I hear it now in the pandemic a lot, right? I just can't get going. My head's not in the game. I'm depressed. I'm not sure what to do. It seems like the hours, I'm just flittering them away. I'm watching TV. Again, open the newspapers. You'll see all the horrors that the pandemic has brought to your doorstep. Right? In a time when there's wonderful opportunities, again, to do all the things that a year ago you didn't have the time to do. Well, now you do. But how wonderful it would be to be able to say, you know what? Today wasn't a waste. I did, and then you fill in the blank. I called my mom in the middle of the week just to talk about nothing. Tell her I loved her. I'm thinking about her, that she did a great job despite the fact how I turned out. Right? All the people in your world that would benefit from those types of things, whether it's a call or write a look. How about in sales? Right? How many times do you actually thank your clients? Right? Not that thanks that's on the bottom of the invoice that says thanks for doing business with XYZ company, right? That's just printed from the printer. Right? It could just as easily say kiss my butt or you're an idiot. Right? But it says thank you. That doesn't survive. That's not a substitute for an appreciation, a legitimate thank you, right? Making that one prospecting call, right? You're driving down the street. You decide this is your minute, and now you hunt. You start looking at the trucks around you. You start looking at the signs that are on the side of the street, on the sides of the cars. Right? All the things that are out there that are all the types of businesses you could do business with, but now you are alerted. Why? Because your 1 minute kicked in. Now in my 1 minute, what am I going to do? So I can call someone, I can write, I can look at something, I can thank someone. God forbid I prospect, right? How about reaching out to your existing clients? Right? The people that are already putting bread on your table. You think there's something viable we can do with them in that 1 minute? Don't worry about the rest of the day, right? Just worry about this moment. And I tell people all the time, there's no guarantee of a future. There's no guarantee of a tomorrow. There's no guarantee from 10 minutes from today. You look at all the crazy things that have been happening as of late and explosions that took place throughout the world where hundreds of lives were lost in the blink of an eye. Imagine you were one of those people and 1 minute ahead of time, you knew that thing was going to go off. You think you would have found your way out of harm's way pretty fast? Of course you would. That's why that minute is so critical. Now, I understand that can't happen. I understand that you can't slow time and not time travel. But what I am saying is you can control it if you are cogent of it, right? Everything is first a thought before it becomes something else. So in your 1 minute, you could call someone, you could write, you could look at something, right? We should all have that great American novel that we're reading. God forbid we thank somebody. I'd love it to be a client, but it's okay if it's just people in your world that you need to thank. Maybe do something. Pick up a little thing. Buy them something, right? Maybe you realize that your 1 minute happens to kick in when you're at a store, right? How hard is it to pick up one little smallish thing off of it and bring it to someone? And what I find is most people don't really want gifts that are enormous, right? I think everybody, of course, wants expensive. If somebody hands you a car and says, here's the keys, clearly you're not going to turn that down. But more times than not, I find that the gifts that have really are the ones that are the most sentimental and the ones that are the most impactful are the ones that come out of a moment of pure love or pure appreciation, right? You're walking and you happen to see something and it makes you think about that person. And you take the time and now you pick it up. And now all the other great things that surround it, because now you bring it to them, right? You have an opportunity for that personal interchange. What would you do in your 1 minute? If you had that 1 minute, if you could only make one phone call. So there is just a volume of things that can happen in that 1 minute. Again, if you're aware of it. Don't worry. Again, the future, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of 5 minutes from now. We certainly can't change the past. The gift that we have right now is this moment. In fact, I kiddingly say that's why they call it the present. Present, like a gift, right? This moment is the gift.